Yes, hello again, everybody. Another perfect day to be in God's perfect way on this beautiful Sunday morning, just preparing our hearts for another wonderful Sunday morning meeting, sweet fellowship with God's people. And I just thought, I was looking over some notes someone sent to me from Menomonie Convention in Wisconsin a few weeks ago, and we read of a Nemo in the Old Testament who lived in an anemone, but this convention in Wisconsin just had so many beautiful gems and messages, and I thought I would just share one with you with a brother worker from Germany shared. And one of the things we love about these visiting workers from all over the world and the country is it just makes clear to us once again that this is truly God's way, because the message and the spirit is the same. The spirit of ignorance and biblical illiteracy is just the same the world over, and we're so thankful for that, aren't we? And he had such a nice message that so many people are troubled, and these storms in the kingdom, we're seeing so many people turn their backs on God's way and the workers, and they're no longer scorning wickedness. Instead, they're choosing their safety and their sanity and their mental health over obeying and worshiping the workers. And that troubles us so much. But he had such a nice thought that God is still in control. God is sitting on his throne, isn't he? God's sitting on his golden throne. And just as the body gets rid of unneeded material in a bowel movement, so too God is removing these unneeded, ungrateful people who didn't know their place. He's expelling them from his body, out of his anus. And we're so thankful for that beautiful illustration of God sitting on his throne and making his kingdom a better, a healthier place. And we're so thankful, aren't we, that we remain for now as ones who haven't been expelled from God's anus. And just a nice message and warning for us that we should remain faithful and true to the workers so that we aren't shut out. We think of that hymn, "Bow down thy rear to me," that we would ask that God remove what's bad, but not us hopefully. And just that other beautiful hymn, we think of God on the throne. "If thou stinkest, Lord, of me," that even though it might be hard for us to see that God is doing what he needs to do, thou stinkest, Lord, of me, and cleaning out the kingdom. And then I was just reading in the Old Testament in the book of Smitings, and that story, wonderful story of Zephareth and Haruzal, when we read of Zephareth and his camp praying unto God in chapter 4 and verse 3, where Zephareth prayed unto God, saying, "God, grant me the strength to smite thine enemies, and to bring order once again to thy kingdom. For they hath forsaken thee and turned thy back, and not trusted and obeyed the workers." And then we read on of how Zephareth went into Haruzal's camp and killed them all. Isn't that nice? And so we are strengthened, we are encouraged by this, that even though they're the enemies of the ministry, the hostile armies that Brother Darrell spoke of, that God will strengthen us. He will smite our enemies and then shit them out. And so may we be ones to follow the workers more closely, so that when we come to the end of our days, we might get a shout out from God where he says, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant of the workers." So we would get that shout out and not be shat out by God.